Greetings. This is Doc Ock coming at you live and direct from Black Facts Headquarters Central this evening with our latest live stream. You know what time it is. It's Doc Ock at noon and 9. So what time do you think it might be? Obviously, it's 9 o'clock. And we're ready to go with another show that'll leave you with a real big glow. You know. So, what do we need y'all to do tonight? The same thing we ask you to do every night. Go ahead and give us a like and a thumbs up if you're looking at you on YouTube. And then go ahead and subscribe to our Tubular Black Facts channel. And last but not least, don't forget to tell your friends and your family what we've been doing right over here. We don't want to make this a plea. We just want you to let your friends and your family know where we be. Thank you very much. All right, so let's start off with our proverb for tonight. Proverb for tonight is Usichague Mchumbu. Usichague Mchomba. Siku yairi. Usichague Mchomba. Siku yairi. So you hear the word Edie in there, right? Like Edie, I mean. Do not select a fiance or do not select a fiance during the day of Eid. Okay? So, and that's a Muslim festival for those of you who are not familiar with the Eid festival. The only other reference we have in the English language is in the comic strips with the Kingdom of Eid, ID. You see, that's one of the comics that's in your local papers. Okay, you might have seen it, you might not, who knows? But if you did, now you know a little bit about what it was about. All right, let's see, get this baby started over here. All right, now we're all good, got everything running. Meanwhile, we're going to read another chapter out of our book, Never Caught, the story of Ona Judge, an enslaved African-American woman who escapes the clutches of George and Martha Washington. And now we're on chapter 24, entitled Greenland. Now, I can't imagine what would Ona be doing up in Greenland, but it's a short chapter. Let's go ahead and get it on. Knock it out the park. For Burwell Bassett Jr., this trip to Ona's house had turned his world upside down. He was stunned. Ona was not freed legally, but he knew now that this was going to be a bigger fight than what he had expected. They must have stared at each other, Ona holding her baby righteous in her stance, and Burwell cascades of mixed up thoughts about slavery coursing through his mind. After a long moment of silence, he probably doffed his hat and walked away from the Staines' home, unsatisfied again. After this terrifying visit, Ona was more resolved than ever to protect her daughter and herself with all her might. Burwell was growing angrier with every step he took back to the Langdons. He understood that Northern sentiment about slavery was different from in the South, but Ona's clear belief that she was equal to him had ignited his own temper. In Virginia, if a slave ever talked to her owner the way Ona had spoken to Burwell, she would be swiftly and severely beaten straight up. Burwell's Southern manners had hid a rigid sense of how he felt personally insulted. Ona had not seen the last of him back at the Langdons' house. Burwell told the senator that Ona had refused to return to Virginia. By this time, Burwell had mentally regrouped. He would not leave the fugitive slave in Portsmouth no matter what. Senator John Langdon was in a difficult position, to say the least. As an elected official, he was obligated to follow the laws of the land, which at this time still included the returning of fugitives across state lines. But outside of his own personal moral beliefs, this was a delicate situation, one that required the senator to walk a fragile line between obeying federal law and abiding by the growing anti-slavery position of his state's citizens. As Ona's fate was up in the air, secret and unknown allies came to her aid once again. Someone told Ona that Burwell was going to come back to her house and take her and Eliza by force to a boat. This could have been Senator Langdon himself, or more likely, one of his free black servants. Either way, the news that Burwell was going to return to her home was relayed to Ona almost immediately. During the next day, Burwell most likely notified a few friends who he knew could be discreet and who he knew could help in certain matters. Ona and they could help contain Ona and Eliza if she resisted. Oh, Burwell is notifying a few friends of his that could be discreet who can Ona and Eliza if she resisted. Burwell would have hoped to avoid a scene because of the potential for public attention. But he was prepared. Now he was ready. Like Freddie, if Ona continued to be so resistant, he and his friends would have no choice but to tie up her arms and her legs, gag the baby, and forcibly place the mother and the child in the back of a wagon. In his mind, he was fighting not only for George and Martha, but for the honor of the South itself. As if the South ever had any honor. Honor amongst thieves, about the size of it. It's almost certain that a ship was already stationed in port directly to Alexandria, Virginia. All Burwell had to do was to get Ona there. Burwell arrived at Ona's house and knocked at the door. Probably politely at first. His friends would have been nearby waiting. No answer. He knocked again, a bit more heatedly. Still no answer. Eventually, Burwell forced his way into Ona's home. Now, no one was there. Ona and Eliza had disappeared. There were no replacement. There were no telephones or cars or GPS to try to track Ona down. Burwell himself had no relationship with the free black community in Portsmouth. There was no one to give him any hints as to where Ona could have gone. It was a rural state where the places available for Ona to vanish seemed infinite. Yeah, that's right, infinite. Burwell had failed, and failed spectacularly. What had happened was that when Ona had learned of Burwell's plans to forcibly return her to Virginia, she'd gone to a nearby farm and hired a stable boy to use a horse and carriage to carry Eliza and her to nearby Greenland, the town 5 miles away from Portsmouth, where she and Jack had been married. The stable boy drove the carriage to the home of a free black family headed by Phyllis and John Jack, who opened their door to Ona and Eliza. Opened their home, rather. It was one of countless acts of selflessness and humane behavior during a time when the laws did not match up with the ideals of the young country. It was also, on Ona's part, just another example of heroic, courageous behavior that had evolved because of the most fundamental of pursuits, the pursuit of no, not happiness, freedom. That pursuit of happiness. I don't know what y'all were thinking. Like I was going to say that. You knew I wasn't going to say that. All right. So we finished a little bit early today. And we're going to go ahead and just close it right on out. We're going to get squirrely, even though we're just a little bit early. But in the meanwhile, we're going to let you know how we've been doing it in style. We've been doing the story of Ona Judge. We did Pearl, the escape from the Pearl during the daytime. We did that for about a week. And we're also doing holidays. Oh, because the escape from the Pearl was connected with Emancipation Day in D.C. That's how those two were connected. So now we're doing holidays. We're still doing holidays, and the one we're going to be on the rest of this week is Christmas, and we're going to get deeper and deeper into the holiday itself. How has it been celebrated in various parts of the world? And let you decide how do you think it should best be celebrated. So look for that tomorrow at high noon. We'll be here, and we hope you will too. In the meanwhile, all you little children, lay your little heads on your little pillows on your little bed. Close those your eyes and wait for that big old sun to rise. And when you feel those sunbeams beaming down on your eyes, that's when you know it's time for you to rise and shine, oh children of mine. You know what time it is. And as for you adults out there, you know exactly what time it is too. It's time for you to get busy like a Tin Lizzie. Go ahead and give us a like if you're seeing us on Facebook, a thumbs up if you're looking in on YouTube, and then go ahead and subscribe to our Tubular Black Facts channel. So no matter what time I come on, you will be notified that we are on, and it is popping up in here, up in here. Meanwhile, stay good like you should. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Peace out without a doubt, y'all. Let me transition over here. Boom.